Welcome back to the Yoga Life channel and thank you for coming along. Today I want to share with you a few insights about what you can do if you have been hurt by other people and how you can hopefully get over this as soon as possible and start moving on with your life in a way that is healthy, uplifting, and getting you closer to the life that you want to live, rather than staying stuck with the hurt, the pain, and the upset that this might have caused you. Now, it's always easy to expect you to just get over it, right? This is not really what this is all about. If people have treated you badly, you need to honor yourself in how you stand towards this, how you feel about it, but then also find a healthy perspective that helps you move forward so that you don't get too hung up, too stuck into the negative feelings and can move on with your life. Because the best way of showing them that they don't really affect you is by living a great life and move on as quickly as possible. So the first chunk of information here is whatever people do, however they behave towards you, says everything about them and nothing really about you. It's a really important distinction to make because it can be so easy to be dragged into someone's negative energy, especially if people are accusing you of something, are putting you down, are trampling on your feelings, especially if they are bad-mouthing you towards other people. This has literally nothing to do with you. Obviously, hopefully being a good person, you want to be respectful enough to look at your own share in the situation. Is there anything that you have done or said that has contributed to the situation? Is there anything that you can learn from this so that moving forward, at least you are going to make the right choices and something similar isn't going to be occurring to you again later? But how people react, how they behave, or proactively are seeking out to hurt you, that literally says nothing about you. And this is something I want you to take really serious and take in. This is their behavior. This doesn't reflect on you. And hopefully the good people in your life will see that and will notice that this has nothing to do with you. The next thing is I want you to be able to honor your feelings. Not unlikely that things like anger are going to arise, maybe sadness, maybe grief. So it's always easy to think it wise to push it down and try to get out of those feelings as quickly as possible. However, these feelings hold a lesson for you and hold something that is worthwhile looking at. So rather than pushing those emotions down, give yourself the space to sit with them and really look at them in a respectful way towards yourself and towards your own experience. But just pushing feelings away, all that's going to do is they're going to bubble back up at a later point, and probably when it's really inconvenient or might in turn hurt somebody else. So respect yourself enough, but don't let them become toxic and hurt you. There's a whole process around grief, about anger, about forgiveness. We have a brilliant talk by my fellow speaker here on the Yoga Life channel, Martin Hausner. He's done a whole series here on this channel about forgiveness that if you are interested, you can click into and get a bunch of really good deep insights from him. First of all, express those feelings. Make sure that they can be spoken. Ideally, you want to speak to the person who has hurt you. If that's not possible, at least debrief with friends, with people who are close to you, not in a way that keeps you stuck in a toxic cycle of complaining and bad-mouthing someone else, but release it so that you get yourself ready to let go. Letting go hurt isn't a way of making it okay for the person to have treated you this way. What it does is it releases you from the bonds that still tie you to that old situation. It heals you and it allows you to cut those toxic ties and move forward in your own life. So hence, make sure that you are doing the work required to be able to properly let go. And again, Martin Hausner has brilliant recommendations for you in his much more detailed talks in that regard. The next thing is focus back on you. Take your power back and look at what it is that you want to do where you want to be heading in your life and what you want to be doing. It's so easy to get caught up in this endless feedback loop of ruminating about what the other person has said and done, what led to this, who else was involved, etc. And what you're doing is you are giving your power away by externalizing your thoughts and focusing all your energy into something that ultimately you can't change anyway. When I'm working with coaching clients, that's always a really big job we need to do. Once they start telling me all the details and the stories about what somebody else did and said, you need to gently pull them back and say, where is your circle of influence? What is it that you can control moving forward? What it is that you have power over? The only ever person you'll be able to change is you. If there are toxic patterns around you, in your family, in your workplace, etc., it might be very well worth your while looking into how you are potentially co-creating those patterns with your own behaviors that you might have learned through your childhood into your adult age. So definitely being self-reflective and looking at the lessons you can take from this, but at the same time being ready to empower yourself by looking at what it is that you can control and focus on. In acknowledging the part that you might potentially have played in whatever played out for you, make sure that you look at your own boundaries, your own choices, your own criteria for the kind of people you let into your life and for the kind of actions that you are willing to accept and reactions that you are giving to other people's behavior. Do that kind of work on you. They say people come into your life for a reason, for a season, or for a lifetime. Some people will only be in your life for a very short period. There's a reason that you are supposed to be learning something from them. And of course, if that person has upset you, even after a short time in your life, you can go on and on and on about all the awful things that happened. Or you can shift your perspective and really ask yourself, if there was a gem of wisdom in this, if there was anything I could draw from this that I can learn that will help me feel better, do better, behave better, make better choices in my own future, what would it be? And then draw out as much potential from the situation as you can. Like they say, if life hands you lemonades, ask for salt and have tequila. Wasn't it? Probably not so much on a yoga channel. Like they say, if life hands you lemons, make lemonade. People coming to you for a season. Some people aren't meant to be with you through all your life. Some people serve a purpose, have a journey with you for a certain period of time. For example, you might be parenting together, you might be learning from a mentor, you might have friends who at some stage in your life are really supportive and a part of your journey, but eventually your paths divide. So people who are there for a season have served a purpose. Rather than being upset at them leaving or hurting you in a different way, honor what was, see the good in what has happened, and then do your best to let go of whatever hurt was caused. And then some people are in your life for a lifetime, so hopefully those are the wonderful people. And if not, they are the people who provide constant challenges for you to get better and better at doing you. So the choice is yours. The important message I have for you is that in taking your power back, you can choose who you want to be. You can choose how you show up, and the other person doesn't have to define you, especially if you're in your situation, for example, like going through a really ugly breakup. Of course, the other person might be throwing all sorts of dirt at you. They might be treating you really poorly. But that doesn't mean that you have to respond or to react to it and play at their level. You can ask yourself, it's a similar thing that I did in my divorce. If I was going to write a book about this in 10 years' time, what kind of role would I wish I had played in this? What kind of character would I want to be in my own story? And how can I show up as the hero of my own and how can I show up as the hero of my own story rather than getting caught up in the drama that might go down otherwise. So it was literally often when it would have been easy to get angry, it would have been easy to act from a really low kind of energy to just do that. It was pretty awesome to be able to tune into like my higher self and go, okay, if I was the hero in a story right here, potentially even a story I will have to tell my son someday in 10, 20 years, how do I wish I had acted, and how can I do that right now, even though it goes against the grain of what should be expected and it goes against the grain of what feels easy and doable. Hold yourself to that higher standard. The people who come into your life challenging you, making your life harder and hurting you, can really be catalysts for positive change for you if you choose to take it in that way, if you choose to take on the challenge to almost purify yourself in this kind of fire. I hope this has been helpful. I hope you have learned a thing or two about how to harness that hurt, how to harness those difficult situations as a practice in your own spiritual growth and in your own self-development. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you had a great time. If you enjoy our content, hit the bell button for notifications, and as always, subscribe at the bottom of this video so that you can get more updates about the content that we are putting together for you. Thank you.